Well, it's that time again. Time for another episode of Mr. Nailsin Sunday Comics. And continuing finally at the end of our journey with the Eternals when gods walk the earth. Yeah, it only ran for 19 issues. I don't think that was the intention, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. So here we are at the end. So the end of the Eternals and Earth as well. All answers lie within the pyramid. So it's the end of the comic book series, but it's not really the end of the Eternals. They continued on for quite a while, only to be completely insulted by a movie. Anyway.
We're too late, Icarus. What your mad cousin Druig has unleashed, no living being can stop.
Meaning cancellation, yeah. Well, you know, he tried, and boy did he, you know. All this stuff, the Kirby dots and everything, you know, everybody stole out from under him. Oh, well. Anywho. Oh, what have we here? Among the Polar Eternals, there is one who would dare to destroy a space god. But there is another who is determined to stop him. They will meet. They will clash. They will decide the fate of Earth in the pyramid. My cousin Icarus strives to escape his prison. I must leave him with a few words of comfort before I depart upon my mission.
Abandon the course you've taken, Druig. What you plan to do is sheer madness.
So he's stuck in a... He left his hands out for some reason. If you keep stuffing the holes with your hands, you won't be able to breathe, you idiot. Okay. Heed his words, you reckless fool. Your action could trigger a cosmic holocaust. I'll keep that in mind, noble Icarus. The decision is mine alone. It will shape the future of man. There will be no future. Don't you understand? If you destroy a space god, his companions will shatter this planet and all who live upon it. Humanity will perish, Druig. I've had enough of your advice. Blast you, demon! So he ignites his lightsaber. Let's see. Our captive's regaining his spirit, Sigma. How soon will he be at full strength?
Perhaps in time to stop you. He'll not be as weak as I. He will challenge your power of solar flame.
Caution, wizard, lest I reduce you to a cinder. God, he just throws him around again. Time grows short. Destiny forbids my tarrying with bleeding sheep. Stay and await my return, ragged one.
I obey, Druig.
He's just going to leave him with Icarus? Gee, what do you think he'll do? Oh, guard Icarus well. I rely on your wizard's tricks to keep him docile and content with his smelly quarters.
This shall be done.
Farewell, then. I leave for the Pyramid of the Winds. When I find what I want, giants shall fall, and Druig, the son of great Vulcan, will rise in their place, to tower above men and their puny achievements.
Thus are disasters born in the minds of demon-driven madmen.
Yeah, pretty much. Soon after, this ice runner is perfect for my needs. It is equipped to overcome all hostile elements until you run out of ice. Anyway, let the centuries of silence fade like tattered ghosts. Let the pyramid yield its instrument for cosmic destruction. Many miles later, the pyramid is within sight. Once I cross the entrance to its approaches, the killing wind will activate. To levitate in that howling air mass is impossible, but this vehicle can generate a protective shield to get me through. Druig hurtles ahead and collides with a savage windstorm. Force field on! You gotta tell it to come. So anyway, there he goes. He's up against the defenses of the pyramid. Inside the force field, Druig's vehicle streaks forward, unaffected. He finally reaches the source of the winds. A giant spinning... It's just a fan? A giant spinning mechanism. The pyramid is beyond this opening. I've arrived. Okay, we skip ahead. This is still in the box, but oh look, he's getting out. I can now get a proper grip on this metal. Whatever strength has returned to my sinews must do the rest. There he goes. By the gods, I've done it. Icarus is free, and the fight is no longer to the sly. Oh, no! So, I guess he couldn't, maybe he was programmed or he could never disobey. I don't know. I should destroy you where you stand, Sigmar. Betrayal is a costly crime.
Stay back, I can defend myself.
Quaking Toad. With your help, Druig was able to wrest from within me the whereabouts of a dreaded force.
I had no choice but to serve him. He'd have burnt me to a crisp.
So that's it? Man, you really are a piece of crap. I mean, you're a wizard and stuff. You could have figured out how to get around the guy. Oh, well. Screw him, you know. And I would crush you to pulp if I didn't need your knowledge of the pyramid. You're coming with me.
Yes, I am at your command.
Oh, boy, he's one of these sick people, you know. A masochist or whatever.
Believe me, Icarus, I am as eager to stop Druig as you are. I only hope we can reach him in time.
Pray that we do, wizard, or all is lost. Now, levitate.
The inscrutable space gods have been a source of woe during each visitation. Centuries ago, they came and fell to fighting amongst themselves.
It was then that one of them was destroyed. Those were there were polar eternals on hand to witness that epic battle.
When the Celestials left their cosmic weapon behind, we hid it until
they just left it behind. Yeah, we don't need this no more. They just tossed it aside.
So we hid it until this day of Druig's mad dream of ultimate power.
You got some big boots to fill. Suddenly,
now the Celestials walk among us once more. Behold this intruder upon our domain.
The giant moves in the direction of the pyramid. Yeah, he probably knows something's up. So we skip ahead again. Icarus is led into the inky darkness below. You did well to cleave to the truth, Sigmar. The passage exists.
It runs beneath the wind corridor above us. When we emerge, it will be in the pyramid chamber.
Oh, so you didn't really need that special, ice mobile that Druig had. Guess Sigmar wasn't telling him everything. Meanwhile, at the pyramid, this is the door I seek. It bears the symbol worn by Icarus himself, and who but the keeper of the secret would live with its sign? I see it. The weapon is here in this room. My fingers need only reach out and grasp undreamed of power. Must narrate my every move. Yeah. It is a pistol made for a giant's hand, but I can harness it to fit my own. Are you going to shrink it? Well, let's see. Whoops. Suddenly, bury your wild dream of conquest, Druig. It shall never materialize. Icarus, Sigmar. So, you two have joined forces.
Yield, Druig.
You didn't see that coming. Oh, well, okay. I'll see whether you wither in the flames of the inferno before I abandon my plans. Burn, burn.
That was too close for comfort.
Don't panic, wizard. My speed and strength is a match for the hands which trigger infernos.
Yeah, but I don't have that speed.
Yeah, whatever. This should cool your ardor for casting flame at others. You'll pay for this. there is a score to be settled first, a debt for imprisonment and suffering. It's too late for talk of debts. The ultimate power is within my grasp. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh boy, I really skipped ahead. Looks like things didn't work out for Druig. Alien in origin and all-consuming in its nature, the destructive force turns the giant pyramid into a mass of blazing energy.
I've been injured, Icarus. Leave me, save yourself.
But he's such a cowardly worm, you'd think he'd be begging to be rescued. Anyway, not even fools deserve such a death. You're coming with me, Sigmar. Soon after, I've found the passage. Keep calm, and we shall outrun this fiery nightmare.
Your efforts are valiant, but in vain. There is no escape. No escape for all mankind.
So anyway, there he is carrying the little coward, and he's running along, and wiped off the paint on his boot here. That's too bad. But yeah, I'm sure he'll find some red paint later. Oh, there you go. He fixed it. And he's escaping.
Why do you persist in struggling against fate? Let us face it and perish with dignity.
Courage, wizard. No fat chance with that guy. We've reached the mouth of the passage. Though destruction still pursues us, we are alive to make a stand against a hostile fate.
Spoken like a warrior, but I tell you that there is no hope. Look below, the land seethes and cracks in the throes of death.
Never have I seen the likes of this.
The force of consuming every atom of the rock beneath the surface. In a moment it will break through and spread across the horizon.
Cursed was the day that Druig decided to use this power. Your prophecy of doom is materializing. Tampering with the tools of the Celestials may have been man's final error. Well, man didn't do it. An Eternal did.
I tried to warn Druig. Had I only been brave enough to stop him.
Well, you weren't. Oh, wait, someone's going to give you a hand. Suddenly, it's the space god, the giant that Druig meant to destroy.
He sees the danger.
Ziran of the Fourth Host knows the situation quite well. He raised his hand, he gestures at the advancing inferno and releases the counterforce. Potent beams sweep wide across the burning land. Where they touch the blazing starfire, it fades and dies. The process is prepared until the scarred and molten landscape lies silent and safe from the threat of total destruction.
Stranger and stranger are the varied ways of fate. That terrible force has fallen prey to its intended victim.
The great Celestial had the answer to the problem all this time. Druig could never have succeeded with his plan. The space gods remain an unconquerable enigma, mysterious and majestic among the creatures of the cosmos. Thus, like his fellows, the Celestial moves on, perhaps dwelling on a distant time when men have gained the stature to face them eye to eye and know all. The end? Pretty much. Reading this story, it was clear that the intention was to be separate from the Marvel Universe and all that. And there's a lot of reasons for that, because they'd already established that the gods of myth were real and all that. Obviously Thor and the Norse gods, but also later on introducing Hercules, so that meant Zeus and Olympus and all that. And the Eternals are based a lot more on, I think, if not mostly, except Gilgamesh and stuff was brought into that. He was an Eternal all that time, but Icarus is Icarus, and so on and so forth. Circe, and Zuras is Zeus, and on you go. Mercury is Mercury. On and on and on. It's the Roman and Greek gods were supposed to have been inspired by the Eternals over the years, and that was the idea. That it was the ancient astronaut theories and all that stuff played into this, and that they were the inspiration for those myths. Of course, it doesn't work when the Marvel Universe had already established that the gods were real entities, albeit either aliens or pan-dimensional beings or something like that. And that's how they went. But then Kirby, after he went to DC, did New Gods and all that stuff, and then that kind of fizzled. And then he went back to Marvel, and so he goes back to the same trough of gods and whatnot and space gods, and comes up with the Eternals. But it's obviously in its own universe. The Hulk wasn't the real Hulk, and they seem to insinuate that they saw Marvel characters as nothing more than cartoons and comic books and whatnot. And that was obviously Kirby's intention, but it didn't stay that way, and they became just other characters within the Marvel universe. And it was just a coincidence that their names were similar to the to the gods, and that there's like, yeah, a lot of times people confused us for those guys. And that was it. It kind of takes away from the original point of, ancient astronaut theory and all that type of stuff that he was playing with for this series. So that's the way it is. I might look back into some of the other. I don't think I'll go through the whole series of the other, because the one that I first read was the one in the 80s they did was a 12-issue miniseries, and that's the one when I first got introduced to it. And then there was a series called Marvel Saga, which told the whole history of the Marvel Universe, and that's where you see it molded in to the storyline. So anyway, that's the real Eternals. Bears no resemblance to the movie at all, which didn't even try. And they even bragged about the idea that most people don't know the Eternals, so we can just do whatever we want. Well, I think it's pretty obvious which one was better. Kirby was not at his best at writing, and had he had a different writer to work on this with him, but by then the bridge had been pretty much burnt between him and Stan Lee. It could have been someone else, but he wanted to have control over his projects after that. And the narrative and plots and the ideas, he had plenty of those. I mean, the man had vision and could dream up all this stuff and think it up and everything. But in the execution of plot and narrative and stuff, it certainly, in New Gods, it fumbled a bit. Here, it more or less stayed pretty on path. I mean, the ultimate story is what's the Celestials up to, and he had set it to be this long-running series where you would eventually get to what would be the judgment of the Celestials and all that. Well, I guess they decided to leave anyway or whatever, since it became part of the Marvel story. So he didn't get to finish it, and that's the deal. That's just that's too bad. But anyway, there we go. The Eternals. So next week, probably go back to public domain, but since the Moon Knight story's coming, I thought I would look back at some of the original Moon Knight comics. Might even get, I can get a digital copy if I need to. That's what this is. It makes it easier to do these things. Of his first appearance with Werewolf by Night and all that sort of stuff. And I might jump into one of the regular series that came out in the early 80s. Even though that's not really what they're basing the TV show on. It's based on the more recent versions of Moon Knight. But anyway, might do that. But as far as doing a whole series run again, this might be a while before that happens again. But anyway, we'll see what I have in store next time on Mr. Nailsin Sunday Comics.